You think you're free in a society like that?
Yeah,
Yeah, no.
yeah. Not to make this a major can of worms as we wrap this show up a little bit, but when I look at what needs to be done now in terms of our voices being heard and standing up for our constitutional rights and keeping this country away from being Marxists or communists or socialists, any one of those bad words that we talk about. I think my grandparents sacrificed in World War II. My father sacrificed in Vietnam. I've had the best life the last 53 years without much sacrifice in terms of wars that I had to go stand on foreign soil and potentially die for my country. I feel like my time is now, that my fight is now, that I need to get involved, that I need to get out of my comfort zone, and that I need to do something to maintain. And I don't think a lot of people look at this as a battle. I think they just feel like, this will fix itself and I don't need to do anything. But I would love to hear your quick perspective on, is this a battle, and do people need to get involved and get out of their comfort zone now? Otherwise, it's going to be a problem.
It is. And I would go yes, everything you said, totally. I'd go one step further. The complication is the left is become so vehement, so they don't accept any other perspective but their own. And so they attack and attack and attack. And so if you come out and you have the courage to state your position, they're going to attack you. And so I would suggest people not only get involved and do those things, but have the courage and the perseverance to realize that a large majority of Montanans specifically, but Americans in general, all feel the same way you do. And we need courage to stand in light of that fire if we ever hope to really affect change. So, you and I are both saying, yeah, get involved. But please, once you get involved, it's dirty. It's nasty. They are not friendly. They are not happy. They don't want to talk about any other perspective but their own. And so you've got to gird yourself, put on the armor of God and be ready for the fight. Because, we're fighting powers and principalities, but right now you're fighting idiots on Twitter and the folks on the newspaper who are trying to destroy you, and they're destroying your business. You got to stay strong, and we got to link arms and fight.
Yeah, and I think people mean well on both sides that aren't on the inside of information. And I'll clarify that a little bit. We held a school board meeting this last Thursday, and as we wrapped up, we talked about the potential of the next school season and wearing masks. And the superintendent said, well, COVID is rampant in Flathead Valley again. And one of the school board members says, yeah, it's terrible right now. And I said, wait a minute, folks, we're on a public forum here. Do you have facts to back that up? And the board member says, well, don't you watch the news? Well, actually, I don't, and I want to be very concerned about what we put out there. So, of course, I was intrigued when I went home to know what the actual numbers were, because in my opinion, my truth was they're pretty low. We have 130,000 plus people in Flathead County. Based on a New York paper report, which always exaggerates the number, we have 15 active cases right now. So let's not tell the public that we're rampant with COVID at a public meeting, school board, that on the news it said that we have a problem here when there's really only 15 cases out of over 130,000 people, right?
Yep. And the thing they're not telling you is the death rate is just tanking.
Yeah.
Because we found so many therapies and so many ways to fix the problem. All they're talking about now is infection rates and Delta variants. Remember, COVID had more to do with control and tyranny than it ever did to public health and safety.
Yeah, I think that's going to have to be our next show, Derek. But, I made the point about the COVID thing because, when you get into the fight and you feel like you're not having to be in this fight, there is a lot of forces against our belief system, how this country was founded and where it's headed. And so don't be so naive to believe everything you hear on the news. Know your own truths. Talk to people like Derek and his wife and some of our other great representatives. And please, if you can get involved somewhere, great. If you can't, just share shows like this that are providing information for people and be informed. So, Derek, thanks for your time. Where can people find you? I know you've got a website out there, or how do your number? How do you want to be contacted?
Yep. My phone number, 406-212-5493. My email is just my name, DerekSkees @gmail. And I have a website, DerekSkees.com.
And a compliment to you, sir. You are at almost every event. Well, probably every event. I say almost because I'm not at every event. You're at every event I've ever been to. So I know you are active in your community and doing us a service. So thank you again for that. Thanks for being on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. And thank you to your listeners. God bless Montana.